Hi, welcome back to the Iron Man WoW Challenge. We are still in Ungoro. I think we're about halfway done through this zone at this point. From what I remember of the quests left to do, yes, that's about halfway. So, what have we got left to do? We've got the camp up in the north. That is, well, it's no longer a camp. We've got the gorilla cave to do, which is still there. We've got the Sithid base in the south to do, and we've also got the Pylon Quests, which is essentially the storyline for this zone. Every zone after the Cataclysm revamp has a kind of overarching story to it, and the Titan Pylons are kind of part of the story for this zone. For those of you that don't know, maybe you've not played through Sholazar Basin in Wrath of the Lich King, but essentially this area here is a Titan laboratory or Titan playground where they were playing with life and how to create life. That's how the story goes. Sholazar Basin in Northrend is similar, and that's where the Pylons come from. Essentially they were created by the Titans. I'm not really sure it's explained what they actually do though. When we activate them now in Cataclysm, they kind of send off a beam into the centre of the zone, but other than that it's not explained. In Wrath of the Lich King we come back to this zone through a Titan waygate, and we speak to... I'm not sure if it is a Titan or just a Titan construct. And we do that at the end of this zone as well. So that's all pretty cool. So yeah, we've got that to finish off, and that's the reason in a little later in this episode we're going to be faffing about with the hardest quest I've had to do in the game so far. But in the meantime we're back with the knight, and we've got to save the 3 damsels. I've got bag space now, so I can actually pick up this item that's drifting in the water. There we go. It's pretty simple. They're all individually quite funny. The first one, he mistakes a male blood elf as a damsel in distress, which obviously he's not. Now what we're doing here is we're doing the Fossil Finder 3000 quest, which we're looking for a particularly big dinosaur talon. We've got an item to use there, which if you're familiar with archaeology in Cataclysm, it's a bit like that. This little thing we use every now and then kind of points us in the direction of where the thing is we're looking for and tells us how close we are. It's pretty cool. It would have been better if archaeology worked like this, because it would have saved a hell of a lot of time. But in this case, the talon always appears in the same spot, and it's we just picked that up. So we're going to move on to the next quest. We're kind of rushing through these because I want to get through the next couple of zones pretty quickly, because that's where the challenge begins. I'm probably giving away what I've alluded to in a previous episode just right there. So we've still got the damsels. This is the second one, Damsel in the Cliffs, and a Maximilian Northshire actually thinks she's stuck on the cliffs and can't find a way down, and so he pushes her off basically, and we're supposed to catch her, and then I'm not entirely sure whether she dies, but he blames us because he's a bit of a dick like that. Okay, the follow-on for the Fossil Finder 3000 quest. We've got to kill Durin Direshovel. I think he's kind of like a bit of a shoddy archaeologist. So we're going to go and find him. He's right down there in the south. Kind of near where we've got the Sithid hole down there, but I think we have another quest to go in there anyway. Not sure whether we've got that at the minute. But a lot of these quests are actually pretty dull. So having Maximilian Northshire, it is a little bit of a cheat. I'll be open and honest about that, because it does help. We could have done his quests straight away and not had the benefit from him helping out and him constantly giving us kings if we try and cancel it. But so it does make this zone quite a lot easier having him. Little tip there, if you're trying the Iron Man challenge, is to go and pick him up as soon as you can. But that said, the quests are all fairly simple anyway. We just have the Devil Saw, the Elite Devil Saws, which are actually... I'm not sure whether we could actually take those down on our own. I'm not sure why I came back here again. We've already done that one. Yeah, I'm not sure why I came back and did that again. It's absolutely pointless. I appear to be going in circles. Anyway, let's go on and get the final damsel in distress. The Damsel of the North. Now this one bugged out, to be honest with you. It's a bit of a shame. It's picking up more dinosaurs. Essentially there's a little gnome here, I think it is. And she's supposed to have... That was a goblin, not a gnome. She's supposed to have a little bird that's following her around. And basically, Maximilian thinks it's a phoenix and kills it. And obviously it's not a phoenix, it's a little pet parrot. Again, he's basically screwed up yet another damsel quest. So now he wants us to go and get a blessing from some light spirits that are around around the springs, but actually they're not spirits, they're elementals, steam elementals. And for that we just have to sit there and take a beating from them. Actually, my pet's taking the beating, but that's fine. A very simple quest. Don't kill them, just let him be a dick. And then I think we're going to go back, speak to him, and then the final part is he wants us to essentially kill the brood mother of all the dinosaurs in this zone. And based on his current standing, or his current efforts, she's absolutely screwed up every quest that we've gone to do. It's no surprise that he screws up this one as well. So we're on the back. We've got two abilities: throw rock and kind of do a thunder stomp. And we get this massive devil saw here, and of course none of his abilities are working, so we have to do the whole thing ourselves. We get another ability like throw armour, but essentially that's all we've got. We've got the ability to throw stones at the brood mother, which does like 30 damage each time, and we have to just kill her that way. The guy's an idiot, basically. He's an absolute idiot. Now, I've done that quest again since, and we didn't get the armour back. We didn't get that third ability, and it took me about 15 minutes to slowly whittle the broodmother's health down by throwing stones at it. So, you can probably guess why I've had to do that quest again. But again, I'll come back to that in a few episodes. So now we're off to the Sithid Scar. We've got Sithids to kill. We're after Sithid legs, and thankfully each one of these does drop 6, which is good. We have 96 of those to collect, so it does actually still mean we have to pick up quite a lot of them. But that's fine, because in the process of going to pick these up, we've got a quest boss as well, which is pretty cool actually. It's kind of a cool little mechanic they've got going on with that. So we're just going to fight our way in here. Again, absolutely no problem. They're not too tightly packed. You can probably see how slow they are going down. We do desperately need a better gun. That is fucking huge. Wow. Really? we'll interrupt your little spell there, dude. So, okay, a couple of little mechanics there. Is he blocking the door? Get out of the way. It's more scary for my pet, I think, than for me. Okay, that was pretty cool. I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit worried about doing that, purely because it is such a massive mob. And it's an elite as well, and it has abilities, so that's kind of nice, isn't it? Now, I mean, maybe I could have just completely bypassed those abilities and took it in the face, but having not done that before, I wasn't sure how hard it was going to hit, and the way I see it, if I'm getting an actual warning about something, it's probably going to be quite bad. So, anyway, let's get the rest of these Sithid legs. If I remember to loot things. 66, 72, 78. Shouldn't take us too long to get through them. Okay, that's that done. Then we can head back. We don't have Maximilian now, or don't have the King's buff anymore. So, I think part of me was kind of like struggling to readjust to having so little power again. It's amazing what Kings can do. Okay, so that's that for that little episode. I was recording these in like hour-long chunks, and let's see what we've got up next. We're here to try and do the Bouquets of Death quest. I've tried this once before. You may remember that a couple of episodes ago. I had a bit of difficulty doing it, and I couldn't get it to count for a kill. Not too sure why, but having gone to old trusty Wowhead to try and figure out what's going on with it, I can tell you that it's because basically pet damage doesn't count. So, yeah. That pretty much screws us over. Because our pet is always going to do most of the damage. That one actually counted, so that wasn't too bad. But I took a bit of a beating. And we need to do how many of those? 6. So it's going to be interesting. Don't have a lot of food actually. I could do with stocking up with some decent food at some point. But we'll try that again. If at any point it fails, I'm just going to give up with the quest. Basically, I want them to attack my pet, not to attack me. I don't have misdirect at the moment. I think that's probably enough. See, that one didn't count. I don't know why that didn't count. This quest goes nowhere, so actually let me just check that. Okay, this quest does actually go somewhere, and I've figured out a couple of things about this. Wow, it is such an awesome resource. A couple of things, right, so I have to basically be doing most of the damage. I'm not sure whether I need to get the killing blow, but it's basically most of the damage. And there's a hunter. A couple of things that you've got at your disposal are traps and pets, and both of those don't count as your damage. So that's a bit of a shitter. So essentially we have to do literally most of the damage ourselves. So what we're going to try doing is putting our pet onto passive, not using any damaging traps, and we're just going to try and kite them like this, and or kite them and just use auto shots and arcane shots when we can. And for the rest of it, if we actually kite them too far, they rubber band back, so that helps us as well. So we can see that we had some evading. That's because they're rubber banding back. So we can kind of exploit that and make it work so that we don't take too much damage. But still, a real pain in the ass quest. As I mentioned earlier, this leads on to one of the Pylon quests. So the reason I want to get this quest done is because the Pylon quest that I suspect at this point it's going to lead on to. It does offer quite a lot of XP, so it's just beneficial for me to do it. And it's actually really good practice for kiting and dealing with difficult mechanics, which, you know what, you don't get that anymore in the game. There used to be a couple of hunter quests back in the day in vanilla, which actually I didn't get a chance to do because I wasn't playing a hunter at max level in vanilla. But I've done the quests before they were taken out of the game. I think it's to get the Rock Dollar. It's not quite the legendary bow, but it's an epic bow. And I would have loved to have done those in vanilla because they actually look really challenging and difficult. And this is one of those quests which is very similar to that, because it really made me have to rethink how to play a hunter just to do this specific challenge. It's not one of the things you really have to worry about if you're not doing the Iron Man challenge, because basically a couple of multi-shots on those, I would imagine, would just kill them all. But doing Iron Man, because they don't hit massively hard, but there's when you've got 4 or 5 of them on you all tapping away at your health, you know, it does hurt pretty much. But we can get through, we slowly get through this. We've got 5 out of 6. And by this point I've got a perfectly decent strategy for doing this. So if we just keep kiting them around into the trap there to slow them, and if maybe just rubber band them off, and there we go, we've done it. It's not impossible. Nothing is impossible on the Iron Man challenge. Well, I say that now. We don't know what we're going to face later on in the challenge. But anyway, that's done. The follow-up quest for that is to just kill some of the larger blood petals. We have 11. I don't know why 11. But in the meantime, we dinged to level 53. I'm trying to get it down to at least 1 level per episode. For the time being, anyways, it's going to slow down a little bit. So level 53, we're getting on. We're doing all right. I'm pretty happy with this. But anyway, those quests where we've only got one thing to kill a number of times is never going to be difficult for us to do. Especially when they're yellow mobs, and especially when they're so spread out as they were there. Alright, the Eastern Pylon, as I mentioned previously, there used to be a kind of like a mini quest boss up here. You can't get up there anymore without a flying mount. We do the Pylon, and it teleports us up there because we can't get up there. And then we just fall down, and that's that Pylon quest done. I can't remember which ones we've got left to do now. But we do them all anyway, so we're going to head off and do... I think we're off to do Super Sticky Tar now. Super Sticky Tar is a bit of a... There's a couple of quests around here. We've also got the a quest to pick up flowers. Hard to harvest. Tar Blossom. It's a real pain, because as you can probably tell from the name, Tar Blossom is in the tar. We've just killed a named mob there that we have to come back for later. And you can't actually see the tar blossom in the tar. You have to swim into the tar, and when you're in the tar you get a debuff which makes you swim incredibly slow, which is really annoying. However, unbeknownst to me, turning on ambient occlusion in my video card settings, which I'd just done anyway, just to see what it ran like, allows us to see the tar blossom in the tar. You can actually see the ambient occlusion shadows that it leaves behind, so it does make it a little bit easier to spot them in the tar than it would do otherwise. Handy little cheat there. But I think at this point I don't even realise I'm supposed to be doing those instead of actually just fighting these tar beasts. I've got one already, but it takes a little while to actually find them. I'm trying to get scouting out all the different tar pools here, trying to find them. As you can see, swim so slow. But it's tar, so what do you expect? Okay, well that's probably enough for this episode. We're at 22 minutes. We're just gonna finish off this Tar Blossom quest. I shall see you next time. We've got very little left to do in this episode, and we should move on to the next zone. Can you guess which zone I'm going to go to? Probably not. See you then.